All right. So it looks like we've had some comments on this doc, which is great. Let's see, my video, yeah, kind of. Discovering weak algorithms by querying crypto properties, algorithm properties, classical security level. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, I just tried for each of the use cases, just showing what's how this would link to the CBOM that we currently have.
Got it.
Sure.
Yeah, and this is then this quantum security level, right?
Right.
Certifications, yeah, 143 as well.
Yeah, there we have a couple of them. Like there are different levels, right, of FIPS. There's
Yeah.
common criteria as well with
What's
different
the
certification levels.
certification level in the standard?
Yeah, the levels for FIPS, I think like the level 1 is software, and then it goes up to level 5 with
Right, but is it specific to FIPS or is it just like a general purpose type of field?
it's no, it's FIPS basically. It's a closed set of algorithms for FIPS.
Okay.
I think for common criteria, it's more open.
Okay. Okay. Um, says difference with dependency type used implemented configuration algorithm supported but not configured or enabled. How would you do that? Well, we can get down to the details later. Let's see. Welcome, Nicholas.
Hi everyone, sorry for being late.
Nicholas. Yeah, with this supported, not enabled, probably have to find a just craft an example right for that. See how this can be
For this
covered.
one right here, yeah, yeah. Certificate properties not valid after key properties, expiration date, related crypto materials. Okay, that's where the tokens and stuff go in. Okay.
Yeah.
Standardized way to represent. Yeah. Okay.
What is there is that the desire would be to have an expiry for any kind of related crypto material where it applies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something we can add actually, an expiry date for just general related crypto material. Then it, yeah, tokens would be covered, other assets like passwords and
Right.
others.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope no one would actually put a token or a password in it, but you actually can, I guess, right? Tokens captured in related. Well, that you said that wasn't the actual token value itself, right? Or the actual password value itself, or is it?
No, it's, I think we wouldn't capture the value itself.
Right. Okay.
Would be the idea, right?
I mean,
But,
in 1.5 we have a field there for value, just to have a like more general field to add data, but it shouldn't be the actual value of the token. It should just be like metadata you want to capture to it.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
but things like, yeah, permissions, and that would be something, right? Could be added there.
What's that?
Like in the next one, like this auth n, auth c token.
Yeah.
Inventory of which tokens are in use from which sources and which permissions. Right? So don't know if there is a way to model permissions already in CycloneDX, or if this would have to be added.
There is not. I ran across, I'll have to dig it up. I ran across a standard a few months ago that describes authentication and authorization for a system. I can't remember what the name of that standard is. But should probably look at that because it might be something that we could reuse, especially if they actually do support permissions. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Come on. I obviously need more caffeine this morning.
I wasn't sure how license expiry would be related to crypto in general.
I don't think this was meant as crypto related. I understood it when we talked about it as this would be another nice use case. But I could be wrong.
Yeah. So we're talking about this one right here, right? Analog to license. Yeah. So
this, I agree. I don't think this is a crypto thing, but the way I understood it last time, I can't remember who said it. I think this was meant as basically, this would also be nice to track, but like that would be another amendment to CycloneDX.
right. But we've got, so not valid after expiration date for the key. Oh, what happens? Okay, this is for the license for
Software license, right?
yeah. So this is like a commercial license for to use like a cryptographic provider. Is that what this is?
I think last time it was one of the use cases in the CycloneDX use cases page.
Sorry,
right?
which one are we talking about now? Sorry.
Analog to license commercial expiry.
So okay, this one. So this is, I think this got moved around. We had this where TLS certificate expiry, standardized way to represent inquiry for certificate expiry, and this was right beneath it. So I think the auth and token stuff was. So this is what it refers to. So a standardized way to represent inquiry for certificate expiry, and then basically this is a different use case, standardized way to represent commercial license expiry, like my Windows license will expire at this date. But as I said, it's a totally different use case, doesn't really belong to the crypto space, but it's still like nice / useful to to have, like, but this is at least my understanding.
Okay, yeah. And the spec will already do this, but I think it would be a good use case to it would be a good use case to actually illustrate because this is a real world thing. So
we would love it. Our customers would too, I'm sure, if there were standardized ways. And I wasn't aware that this is already easily possible. So perfect.
and then information. Oh, we got issuers just kind of hanging out here.
remember what this referred to.
I wasn't sure about that, if it was related to certificate issuers or.
You're already capturing that, right?
Yeah, because it's, I mean, if you information on the CA, right, that's something
Yeah.
related. You have a certificate issued by an issuer, right, which then has it's like a certificate chain at the end, right?
Right,
That's
right,
what
right.
I added there as a comment, so that it's I mean, it's possible you can have multiple certificates that link to each other via the issuer name. But I wasn't sure if this issuer here standalone was related to that or something else.
Okay. Certificate chain up to root CA can be added to crypto properties, certificate properties linked to issuer name. Okay, so this is information on the CAs. Okay. All right. Are there other world government certifications other than FIPS? I'm sure there probably are. I just don't know what they are.
There are a couple of more, right? We can have a try to make it more comprehensive. I mean, there are like guidelines on one side that lists list of proved algorithms, right? That's things like the CNSA or BSI, they have a list. And then on the other side, it's like a certification where you go through, submit your implementation, and then got the certification, right? I think their FIPS and common criteria are the main ones.
Does BSI have a FIPS-like certification program?
Yeah, they have something called TRs, technical guidelines. I posted a link, so I don't know the FIP stuff, so this is out of my league. I just Googled, and I posted a link in the chat. This might be related, but Basil and Niklas, you probably know more about that than I do.
Yeah, the TRs, they are, they also just had it open. Like I recommend, I mean, there are
Exactly.
TRs for cryptographic mechanisms, like recommendations and key lengths. This is, I think, more like the approved algorithms.
Yes, but it's not like a real certification, especially for hardware. It's more like a recommendation. That's my understanding of those technical guidelines. But other than that, I don't know anything else than FIPS and those BSI things.
Yeah.
We're actually
You can ask our hardware guys if they, but they'll stay if they consider something else.
They also have, so this one I actually do know, they also have projects to certify hardware. Looking for an English resource. But yeah, there are more.
So this is not a certification. This is actually a standard, right? So, oh wait, standards and certifications. This is technical guidelines.
And then you can usually get certified according to those guidelines, at least in some of them. I try to find.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. I remember there are tooled hardware out there that is certified from BSI. But yes,
They have a new thing, like I can't remember what it was called.
So one thing that So one thing that we've introduced in CycloneDX 1.6 is support for attestations. And in order for us to do this, we had to also support standards, requirements, and if standards had certain levels within the requirements, then support those as well. So basically what we have today is, and it's currently in draft, we have the ability to represent an entire standard, whether that standard is SSDF, PCI Council, things for payment card industry. We can represent many OWASP standards today. We just had a call with NIST a few days ago. We're going to start on 853 R5 and representing that. And they're very interested in providing, possibly in the future, machine readable versions of CycloneDX, representing NIST standards in that way. And once the standards are obviously represented, then you can do attestations. And the attestations include the claim that you're making, all of the evidence, sometimes counter evidence, mitigation strategies, all in support of an attestation, which is claiming your compliance to a particular requirement. We also include the concept of signatories, which are different than digital signatures. So this is the concept of I certify to the best of my knowledge that this information is accurate type of thing. And the spec is supporting both analog and digital signatures because not everyone has a digital signature today. It is, to my knowledge, the first general purpose machine readable attestation spec that will exist. There's a lot of industry specific things. There's a lot of PDFs floating around, Word documents, which are by definition not machine readable. But I think there might be a way to kind of leverage the work that we've done there for maybe this certification / standards over here.
Do you know these in totos attestations?
Those are very, very different type of attestations.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. In toto is very specific to, building software. And it is cryptographically verifiable and all that sort of thing, which is great. They do a good job at that particular kind of attestation. And what we've done is, well, it can certainly be used for that type of thing. What we've done is really created that business level type of attestation, right? Does your organization have a PCERT function? Do your developers get yearly security training? Are you performing secure code reviews and static analysis on your code base? Those are the type of attestations that are going to be much more likely to be shared with others.
Okay.
So we might have an opportunity to kind of leverage this. So obviously not something we have to solve today, but
but I've something. I know. There's some. You know this tacos thing that came up, that at least does some of it.
yeah, they do a small part of
Yeah.
what it is that we're doing. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's totally fine. I was just I on holiday I spent a lot of time reading specs and this sounded familiar. Interesting.
That's fun to you.
I was surprised. Some of these actually were interesting. I had to give a presentation this week to the company and I had to be ashamed that I actually did it on holiday. Yeah. Some of it was interesting.
Yeah. I'm certainly aware of their work. Thanks, Lars, for putting the link in the chat. Let's see.
If I understand it correctly, then I mean, this attestation could be used to represent, standard, for example, right? So
Yeah,
couple, basically the algorithms that are specified by the standard, which can then link to the properties that we have in the CBOM
correct.
algorithms there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can attest to you'll in 1.6 you'll be able to attest to like a component, which is what an algorithm is, right? You'll be able to attest to like a component, you can attest to a service, you can attest to an organization. So if you want to say that my entire organization is doing X, Y, and Z, you'll be able to make those claims. There are one of the not one of the driving factors, but some of the driving factors that led us to do this is my team at ServiceNow. We're kind of the team that if we want to release software in the future, because we sell to the U.S. government, our CEO needs to sign off on that NIST PDF thing, which is fine. The CEO isn't going to come to me directly; they'll go through the CISO. But my team basically needs to be able to collect all the evidence so that when we say yes, CISO, this is okay for our CEO to sign, or here's some caveats about signing it, then we can have all that data uh, accessible and ready to go whenever they need it. But the U.S. is obviously just one government. There's other governments around the world working on very similar type of regulations. So what we don't want to do is have to do something different for the U.S., something different for Australia or EU, whatever the case is, right? Because all of these types of regulations / maturity models, they're all kind of the same, just different words. They're all kind of asking for the same things. So what we want to do is basically collect this type of data once and then output whatever world government expects in whatever format they expect it in. However, there are other organizations that, while my company only sells a few different quote unquote products, there are other organizations that sell, especially defense contractors, that sell tens of thousands of different products to the US government. And, it's just not one, if you are that large, you would never sign off on the entirety of your organization because you're a big organization. Are you really sure that every single business unit is performing the exact same functions in compliance to SSDF or some other standard? Probably not. So you're probably going to do it on a per product level. And if you've got tens of thousands of products, then it becomes just it's not scalable, especially the way that NIST has done it with a PDF. So we want there's several of us that are pushing for machine readable attestations to be able to share like this. So yeah, in a future exercise, let's revisit this certification support and see if we can kind of tie this back to that work that's already kind of been going on for like the last 5 months or so. If anyone is interested in any of that work, by the way, the recordings are available on YouTube. Let's see. YouTube. And if you go to playlist, this is the attestation working group that we have. So we've been looks like we've been going at it since April. April of this year. So yeah, just over 4.5 months it looks like. So I'll put that link in the chat window if anyone is interested in that one.
Yeah, but so about certification, one thing that might be interesting to also be able to distinguish is like in FIPS, you can have your library running in FIPS mode. I mean, you can have the same library either running in FIPS mode or not in FIPS mode. It's the same library at the end. So it's also something about configuration at the end there. Configuration, how is it configured? How do you start it? How do you run it? So that's either in FIPS mode or not.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay, so it looks like based on everything that's here, it looks like the certifications will probably be the biggest talking point that we'll need to dive deep into. A little bit of research on this authentication authorization stuff, but the spec already supports some of this already. We either figure out what this means or take it out. But it looks like these use cases, which I believe is probably going to be the majority of them, seem to be already covered with the spec. Is that an accurate statement?
I think on the, let's say this, I think most of them, yes, yeah. I mean, there are some that might need some discussion, like this standardized way to represent and query for expiry, right? I mean, that's something to be added to relate the crypto material. But I think that's a relatively small thing there. I mean, we had their weakness, right? Needs to revisit, right? So that might be a discussion point if it's.
Oh, right.
You can say a crypto weakness can be just described by the security level, which I think should be enough information actually, or if there is something explicit you would like to have there, right? Telling that's a weak algorithm or not.
Right.
But using the way with our POC that Nicholas showed, I think for that it's basically sufficient, right? We can say, depending on the policies that we have, we analyze the CBOM. And if the policy says we only support, we don't support weak algorithms, then those will fall out that have NIST security level 0, for example, or a classical security level below 128.
Right. Yeah, this will need to be revisited too, I guess. Okay. All right. Okay. What would be the logical next step? We've got some use cases. We have some things that we need to discuss further. what would be the next logical step that the group would like to do?
I mean, one potential thing is, I mean, there are more properties in the CBOM we currently have. You can say also write them down as in form of high-level use cases when you would use them. That would be an extension to the use cases.
I mean, from go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to ask for clarification for that first point.
Yeah, I just wanted to open another one. So yeah, then go ahead. Okay.
So what about what were we going to say?
Yeah, just my point was that I mean, for me, it was always easier by like trying to use the schema for a specific use case to find limitations. Maybe this approach, even when we don't like use it in a kind of implementation level, but just for creating another example for each use case would help to discover gaps.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this document is more like from the high-level use cases, right? And then what I mean, they can be used matched on the technical side by actual examples, right?
Yeah, I think this will eventually be. I think this will eventually be used as a lot of the content that will go into. I don't know if you've seen the. Has everyone seen the authoritative guide to SBOM? The CycloneDX site. You go to guides.
That's the one you published together with 1.5, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And if you download the guide here, it's, I don't know, like a 60-page PDF on, you know, exactly, you know, how to use it, right? And it goes into, you know, yes, it has use cases and whatnot, but it also goes into some detail on different things as well. So we will likely want to create one of these guides for CBOM as well. Would be my guess. But let me just see if I can find some establishing relationships. Yeah, I mean it does have like code examples and some nice little diagrams and you know that sort of thing in it. So anyway, but we'll probably want to I guess we would probably want to use where did my document go? We'd probably want to use this as kind of the basis of what we wanted to talk about in that guide once we eventually kind of start writing it.
Yeah, I think one input for that might also be we have a examples guide as well, right? In the CBOM repository, so we can reformat that or restructure it a bit to also fit.
Okay.
Guide.
Yeah, that'd be great. So what is it we want to do next? I heard some diving into some technical implementation. Oh, Matt's got his hand up.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm hiding and by saying this, but you showed the guide, but I think that given the amount of pre-work on CBOM that's available thanks to colleagues here, we could actually be proactive in this case and actually release blogs before creating a guide. I think that, again, my echoing statement through the past several weeks has been getting eyes on this. And
Yes.
so maybe the way to get eyes on it, and then maybe also in the blog promote the CBOM work group, and the work is releasing blogs with some of these examples, use cases, with some of these use case examples. I know that Nicholas, thank goodness Basil Nicholas are here, because they're actually people who potentially have cycles to maybe create some blogs. But I think that's a great thing for us to potentially do to get the word out and to get validation, so that with confidence we can actually publish an RFC as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably one of the few outsiders in this group, and I only learned about it because you announced it on the Slack channel. And otherwise I wouldn't never have learned about it. And then I looked at Niklas Basel at your README. If you remember last time, where I asked whether you have this expiration date thingy, and the README doesn't seem to be up to date because that doesn't mention it. So yeah, I agree. It would be nice for discoverability if we had like one place describing what this is, the up-to-date thinking, and then get some eyes on it. That would be great. So that's a long way of saying I agree.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, just like
and thank you for the work.
Just tease one base use case and then link to everything, and include an open invitation to reach out to attend. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's a great idea, Matt. We could put something on the OWASP.org website. That gets a fair amount of visibility, and then you're gonna have I think they've got like 200,000 some odd followers on Twitter, something like that. You're gonna have a fair amount of people that will be informed of that post once it goes live. So that's certainly something that we could do. Does that sound like a good plan to the team?
Yeah, it's a great plan. And I'll just say that if we can get a draft of like a blog and know that it's ready, then I can get it reviewed in IBM, and we can actually create a derivative blog and point to the OWASP blog.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
But again, I need about 2 weeks lead time optimally.
Yes, I know. We've discovered this, Matt. All good though. You're not the only ones too, by the way. All right, so that it leads down to the next question: who wants to create the blog? Are there any volunteers?
I mean, I would just say that, I mean, we have like a little bit of a technical example, and now we discussed a little bit of a lot of the use cases. So we could pick a slice of all that that we currently have and put it in a post. And I mean, Basil and I, we're sitting in the same building, so I guess we can do that for the first. I guess, I don't know, Basil, sorry for just saying that you are available.
Yeah, sure. In general, yes. Let's try to cycle that a little bit and work on it, maybe with Nicholas and maybe Matt as well, if you have some.
Yeah, I'd say craft it for public for OWASP, and you can just write then we can actually work on a second derivative blog. But we're not looking, you can actually write a blog for OWASP without any IBM clearance. But if we want to post it on IBM or post, and this is IBM's opinion, that's where the derivative blog comes in. That needs a 2-week lead time, right?
Yeah.
And depending on how it's viewed by the CISO group and whatever, they might want to bless it as well. And who knows, they might want to have somebody make a comment, like an executive or director or somebody say something positive about the work. So
now these two things don't have to come out at the same time though, right? We could do the OWASP one first.
yeah, I mean, it's good if they come out at the same time, because you can do the OWASP one first, but again, I think that the IBM derivative one should probably come out coincident, like less than a day later, because
Okay.
I think that you saw them, like I complained about 1.5 CycloneDX being released, and the service that we use was horrible. Only 2 city affiliates, one from Fox and one from ABC, picked up the release. IBM, within 48 hours, we had a dozen key bloggers. We target specific bloggers and invite them with exclusives and whatnot. So these are things we can magnify this as IBM, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, the OWASP Foundation doesn't have those kind of resources, but yes, we would appreciate that. And that's great. We also have Kayla Hurd on our team that you guys can work with as well in creating the blog. She is she's been doing a lot of her role is really a UX researcher. That's what she does, but she's been doing a lot of the content development work for us as well. So you can work with her as well on the blog post. She's non-technical, but she does understand a lot of what it is that we're doing, and a lot of the website content has more recently been drafted by her. So I'll put you in contact with her as well. We've got 10 minutes left. When do we want to target the blog post? We're coming into Q3 here soon. Do we want to target like the beginning of Q3? Is that too early?
For me, it sounds okay. So,
Q4.
I don't know.
And end of Q3 and Q4,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Whenever Nicholas and Basil have the time to prepare it and for us to do a review, right?
Yeah.
End of Q3, so that's basically
A month out.
months. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that sounds reasonable.
Okay.
So that the target for posting it, so we have to have a draft 2 weeks prior, or this is the time we should have it draft final?
Whatever we consider the final draft for us to send to the various IBM comms and legal people. So that's the lead time I need. But I would say, we're at a point, I think, where, like I said, we're blessed that we have a large body of work already completed, before seating the work group, that I think a month's too long. I think that target getting a draft prepared by next week, given, what Nicholas said, and then review it on next week's call, and then get it in, and if we make the edits, and then get it into the system, right? So it might not go out until end of the month, but I think that clearly it should be the final bless edited copy from this group should be done in 2 weeks. I'm being aggressive because I know.
I mean,
that we need to be aggressive, I think so.
I mean, with the prerequisite that we like just leverage the things we have and not like have to create new examples or something, I think it's also reasonable to do it in that period of time.
Oh. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we can just have a couple of use cases from here that show some variability or some different data aspects. That's good enough, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think the goal of I mean, we haven't clearly articulated it, but I think the goal of these posts is to inform that this is work that is ongoing, why they should care, and to get more eyeballs on it if they do care. Right? That's really the goal.
Yeah, I mean, and like like I give advice to my teamers running blogs, is that tell your story, tell the CBOM story, and tell them really that you brought it to OWASP and you're excited to do so, and why, and that this is now part of this is core to the 1.6 spec work. Say all those things up front, right? So.
Yep.
Yep.
And obviously I don't need an answer now, but for the blog post that will go on the OWASP.org site, we can do it a couple different ways. Whoever writes it, we could have, it authored by, Basil, Nicholas, whomever, or we could, well, yeah, that would probably be the preferred way, I think. Or we could, well, you could pass the content after it's approved and whatnot, and I can just post it. But if you want like your picture, well, we just go to the OWASP.org site. And if you go to like one of the things, right? Let's actually do a search for, what's one of the ones that I did recently? So this is one, for example, I published it, but Kayla is the one who actually wrote it, right? So we could do something like this if you want to be, if you want to be recognized in terms of the author of the post. So just kind of figure out amongst yourselves like how you want to be credited for this work being published. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 5 minutes left. Is there anything that we want to talk about in 5 minutes, or should we give people a coffee break?
Yeah, I mean, I would use it to run over to Basil's office and just have a chat about how we approach that. So for me,
Okay.
it would be
Head out early. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. I'll post the
Thank you.
recording as soon as it's available. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for participating. Talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
right. Bye bye.